With our top story now, with Xi Jinping and several new leaders taking the reins of power, China's government is entering a new era. But the change in leadership does mean potentially a new change in phase in U.S.-China relations. I spoke to Robert Hormats, the United States Undersecretary of State, and asked what he sees as the areas of cooperation and concern.
The relationship between our two countries is extremely important to each of our nations, but it's also important to the global economy. So we need to work together on a wide range of things. Energy cooperation is very important. China is concerned about increased dependence on imported energy, concerned about environmental problems. That's an area where our two countries could develop a very strong cooperative dialogue. This is one thing. Another is that China wants to engage more in the global economy with the going out strategy, more foreign investment. It has strategic emerging industries. There are areas where we can work together to improve the investment environment in both of our countries. Also, as China tries to develop its strategic industries, we think American companies that are investing in China can, if there's a level playing field, play a very constructive role in helping China to overcome some of the challenges internally. We need to work together to make sure there's an open trading system, open investment system that enables Chinese and American companies and other companies to compete on a level playing field and avoid the kind of distortions that sometimes occur as a result of policies that favor one sector or one type of companies as opposed to another.
Does this new beginning, this new start for the second term for the Obama administration, a new term for the Chinese leadership, does that set the stage for a different style of working together than we saw over the past 12 to 18 months?
I think there will be a different style, but style is important. Results are very important too. So I think we will definitely see an attempt to work very closely together between the Obama administration in its second term and the Xi Jinping administration, which is now beginning its first term. We want to work with China. We have a strong commitment to do this because it's in our interest, it's in the world's interest, and we think it's in China's interest. But we also have to address real problems, and there are issues between our two countries that have been articulated by American officials, sure. Intellectual property issues, cyber issues. There are a wide range of issues ensuring a level playing field for American companies, but there are also enormous opportunities for win-win situations, helping China address its energy issues, helping shale in particular, helping China to address environmental issues, dealing with the question of food security, pharmaceutical safety. These kinds of things are very important. And they're, as I watched on CCTV, the NPC and the speech that President Xi Jinping gave, the press conference that Prime Minister Li Keqiang gave after the NPC was over, I detected a number of areas where our interests converge. China wants to rebalance internally, depend more on internal demand, and strengthen opportunities for the private sector in China, rebalance between the prosperous urban areas with more emphasis on rural areas and central and western China. These are all things that I think are good for China, as Chinese leaders have indicated, but also can help improve the balance with the United States and other countries.
I want to get to one of the topics that you mentioned. Those are the cybersecurity issues. What do you hope to achieve on this trip specifically regarding this issue?
Well, I don't think one trip is going to resolve the issue, but I think ICANN and others who visit China can emphasize two things. One, the importance the United States attaches to it, and second, the opportunity to work together because, as Prime Minister Li has pointed out, Chinese companies are also victims of this. So there may be areas where our two countries can work together in our mutual benefit to stop this. This is bad for American companies. It's bad for trust between our two countries. It's probably the single biggest problem that impedes the development of trust between our two countries. Cutting around the edges is not going to help. It needs to be dealt with forthrightly, candidly, and in a way that stops this practice. On a variety of other issues, what we would like to do is to establish a strong dialogue on energy and the environment, because we know these are important priorities for China and they're important areas for cooperation between us. We'd like also to figure out a way of strengthening protection of intellectual property and dealing with issues that relate to trade secrets